What's up, animal marketers? Today, I want to share with you how to make your first campaign in the nonprofit Google Ad Grant to really get the most out of your free $10,000 a month. My name is Justin, and I do marketing and fundraising for animal rescues. And if you are a 501c3 nonprofit, you should definitely acquire the Google Ad Grant, which gives you $10,000 a month in free advertising to promote your rescue and your services. The Google Ad Grant application is very quick and easy to fill out. And once you are approved, this is what your dashboard will look like. So let's jump right in and start making our first campaign. I volunteer with the East Brunswick TNR Rescue, so we'll be making this campaign in their Google account. You will need a website to send the ads to, and I have theirs pulled up right here. To make your first campaign, simply click the New Campaign button right here. Your first campaign will generally feature your rescue's name and its core services. East Brunswick does trap, neuter, return and offers cat rescue services in New Jersey. This is also a good time to start planning out your other campaigns. If you want more volunteers, fosters, or donations, you can create campaigns for those as well. If you offer spay and neuter services, you can create a campaign for each of your core services. The basic rule for creating a campaign is you want a dedicated page on your website that includes those terms. If you make a spay and neuter services campaign but don't say spay or neuter on your website page, you won't get a very good quality score, which means your ads may not show. Now we start here with a few objectives. There are a few requirements with the Google Ad Grant, so not all of these are available to you. But website traffic is the most common one, and we can definitely select that one and get started sending people directly to your website. If you have any conversion goals set up, you'll see these here. We can also configure these later on. Campaign type is dependent on the objectives, and if we select website traffic, then we can select search, which is available. Let's put in our website, ebtnr.org, and let's name this Main Campaign. This is going to focus on our main core services. So we can make a few different options here. We can select a few different options for bidding. Conversions is what's recommended. We can set up conversion tracking as well. We could also change this to clicks if we're primarily trying to get people to click an ad and go to the website. And for this demo, I think we'll start with clicks because we have not set up conversion tracking yet. Many of these settings are available to change later on. Here are a few networks. If you are using the paid version of Google AdWords, you'll have more options. The Google Grant does restrict some of these, so we don't even have the capability to select these. And next we move on to locations. I always recommend starting with the locations where you actually provide services. In this case, we'll do all of New Jersey. You can customize languages if you have an audience that speaks other languages. Audience segments are another way to really fine-tune your campaign. This adds another layer to who can see the ads. If you select pet supplies, this is probably an audience that Google's created for people who have searched for pet supplies in the past. The downside to audiences is it filters the campaigns, so it filters the ads. So if somebody is not in pet supplies, then they may not see your ad. So for this case, since we're starting out with our first campaign, I'm going to not select any audiences, which can restrict your campaigns and how many people may see them. Once you are spending the full $10,000 a month, then you may want to try and target your ads a little bit better to more relevant audiences, and that's when you would come back and use the audiences that they provide. Here are other settings that we can either leave as is or choose to change. You can set an ad schedule, so if you're only open Monday through Fridays and providing services during those times, you can only show your ads during those times if you'd like. In this case, we provide cat rescue services 24/7. So now we're going to move on to creating an ad group. A campaign is a collection of ad groups, and an ad group is a collection of keywords. You only need one ad group per campaign, and each ad group should have probably 5 to 20 different keywords. In this case, I'm going to call it name terms. In this case, we're going to focus mainly on the name terms of the organization and their core services. So we want to show ads for when people search East Brunswick TNR or TNR Near Me or Cat Rescue Services New Jersey. So we'll call it name terms, and this will be our core campaign that features our core keywords. When you put in your website, Google will recommend a few for you. In this case, I don't particularly like them. I like Stray Cat Rescue Near Me, so we'll keep that one. I'm going to add a few others very quickly here. We can always change these later on. Once we get people clicking the ads, then we'll have more data that we can make decisions based on. So usually what I like to do is put in a few here that really symbolize what this campaign is going to be all about, and then we'll come back later on and add more of them. Google does a good job of recommending keywords as well, as we'll see as we move forward down the list. Now this is what the ad creation page looks like. So at the top here you have these 4 circles, which will start to be filled out as we add more headlines and more keywords and descriptions. Here's the URL for where we are going to send the ads to. And Google wants 15 headlines, and they will rotate them. Google will rotate the headlines in based on what the user is searching. So you can see here the previews, you can see what your ads will look like. And then, of course, we will fill in more of these. Google's already beginning to recommend some based on search volume and based on the website that we have. And as you can see, we just added a couple that Google recommended, and our ad score is already moving up. The easiest way to do this is click More Ideas, and then you can see exactly what Google is suggesting here. Just going to add a couple more here. And as you can see, our ad strength is already moving up. Now before we move on, I do want to show you a trick here on the URL. So we're sending the traffic to the home page. If you use a Google Campaign Builder, you can create these UTM links, which will pull in more information into your Google Analytics. So anything after this question mark will be stored in your Google Analytics, and you'll have more information about how the user found you. We simply put in our website URL and then fill out any other parameters we want to track. In this case, it's a Google click. CPC is cost per click. You could also do PPC, pay per click. And this is the name of the campaign. It's our main campaign. So here is the URL for tracking purposes, and then I will just replace this here. As you can see, it's still going to the home page, but it should be collecting these URL parameters in Google Analytics. So it's already given us 3 out of the 4 descriptions, and it is also recommending a 4th description. So that's how easy it is. You generally want to fill everything out. Rescue. And then you will really ensure, if I can spell that correctly, you'll really ensure you get an excellent ad strength. That basically means that the keywords that you are bidding on are also in your ad, and ideally are also on the page where you are sending the traffic to. Here are a few other things that you can add to build out your ads further, and I recommend doing as many of them as you can. Google will use these in different capacities, and so if you have images available, then when there's an image ad available, Google will show your image ad. Let me see if we have anything loaded. And if not, you can use their free stock images and select them right here. So I'm just going to pick two quickly, and then again, we can come back later on. Oftentimes what I like to do is create a campaign and push it live, and then after about an hour, Google gives it a little bit more attention and provides better recommendations. So during this first run through, the recommendations that Google is providing are not the same that we may see later on. You can add your logo, you can add site links. These are links to other pages on your website. So if we want to send someone to the Get Involved page, we can simply we can create a site link for Get Involved and then put in descriptions, and then that will send users directly to the Get Involved page. Callouts are another feature that I really like. These are pretty simple to do. You just add in one-liners, maybe they're service offerings, maybe they're brand differentiators, and then you can add them, and they usually appear at the bottom of your ad. One of the goals is to make your ad take up as much space as possible. Really helps draw the user to your ad. Here are 7 more things which may or may not be needed. I do always add a phone number, so making it easy for someone to click the ad and call you is also good. Looks like this number is disapproved. I'm going to add it, and then I will come back later and make sure that I can get that number approved. If you have promotions or prices, let's say you do offer low-cost spay and neuter services or adoption events, you might be able to use promotions for that. I don't generally use lead forms. Lead forms do allow a user to submit a form right there in the ad. You then have to come into Google Ads to export those leads. So generally I find it's more convenient to send users to your contact page to get in touch with you. So we can hit done or hit next, and now we're moving on to the budget, and we're almost done. The Google Ad Grant does give you $10,000 a month in advertising, which is about $329 a day. You can set your daily budget over $300. You could even set it to $10,000 a day if you wanted. The only real thought there is if you have multiple campaigns running. Let me verify this. If you have multiple campaigns running, then Google will spend the money as it sees fit. So if you want the majority of your budget to go to a specific campaign, then you will want to check your daily budgets to be a little bit more specific on how you actually want that to spend. And there we have it. Our first campaign is ready to publish. We can review some of the things we had set. We changed from maximize conversions to maximize clicks. We are targeting New Jersey. We have one ad, which is that set of 15. We picked 5 keywords, which may not be enough. We can come back and add more. And we have our daily budget set to $900 a day. So I'm going to hit Publish Campaign. And now when we go back to our home page, we should see our campaign live. And here we go. So from now on, when you log in, this is generally the page that you land on. You'll see all of your campaigns listed here. You have your daily budgets, which you can make changes to just by clicking Edit. You'll see the status. In this case, it's still on learning. Maximize clicks. You can also change this dashboard by selecting Modify Columns. And then you have different options here, and you can move things around like this. So now what I like to do, generally I would give it a few minutes, but I'm going to click in. And here's our name terms campaign. First thing I like to do is take another look at the keywords. On the right, it's going to recommend more keywords, which I find to be more comprehensive than the first time around. So in this case, we do adoptions, but cat adoptions is a great campaign on its own. You really want to think about groups of keywords that you can create for your ad groups and campaigns. One campaign can have multiple ad groups that should all be fairly similar. We don't do big cat rescue. We do rescue kittens. We can rehome a cat. These are some of the core services. We do have a cat sanctuary, and we can do cat rehoming and surrenders. So I'm basically going to steer away from the adoption, the foster, and we can use those terms to create other campaigns for. So now I'm going to hit save, and we went from 5 to 12 keywords, which is a pretty good number. This is about right. Probably half of these keywords will get pretty good traffic, and that will allow us to pause any keywords that aren't getting traffic and maybe replace them with any other terms we think might perform better. So on the left hand side here is how you can navigate. Here's our campaigns, which will show you all the campaigns. This shows you all of the ad groups that you may have created, and then you can also see all of your ads here as well. I'm going to click into the ad one more time and just take a look and see if there's any other suggestions. Since we did add a few new keywords, there may be some more keywords that we need to add in. And as you can see, our ad strength has already changed. This may not be quite correct because we did have an excellent ad score and we only added a few terms, so it doesn't look like Google has updated this yet. Rather than make changes, I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Chances are when I click back in maybe 10 minutes, we'll have a more accurate ad strength. See, as you can see, it already went up to good, but it is recommending a few of those newer terms. So all we'd have to do is add some of these in here. Let me change this one out. Let's see if that moves it back up to excellent. Now I do recommend checking on your ads on a monthly basis, especially if you see some of the ads don't have an excellent ad score, then it may be a good idea to come in and take a look and see what optimization you can do. So there you go. Your first Google Ad Grant campaign is live, and it only took a few minutes. The goal will be to make a campaign for each of your core services, which will help you spend close to that full $10,000 a month. And if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll make more tutorials just like this. Thank you for loving animals.